2, 3, 4, 5. Again. Hold it. 3, 5. 3, 4. You feeling better?
Yeah.
You look great.
I don't know what happened.
I think you had a panic attack.
I don't have panic attacks.
I think you do now. Depression, anxiety, they come with panic attacks. And you can pretend to be macho all you want, but I know you don't lose your health insurance for no reason.
Welcome to Rhythm and Roads, everyone. I'm your host, Joshua Jacob. We have two special guests today. We have the director of Three, Peter Ney, and the actor, Caleb Ruminer. He's actually the actor of Three and many other films as well. So thank you so much, guys, for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
For having us.
Yeah. And I just want to say, Peter, thank you again for letting me see your film Three, and guys for the cap as well. We're here doing a follow-up. But I got to say, it definitely brought memories of certain parts of my life, of my chapters that I've been through, and I could relate to that. And and I love the fact that it had faith base in it. I love the fact, Peter, that and this is a friend of mine, Tim Searfoss. He's a director as well, but his films are faith based as well, but they're also reality. You know what I mean? As in, like, you're at a bar, there's drinks, there's that. They're not trying to excuse that, as in, like, well, we're trying to keep this faith. No, there's like, look, we're gonna add the faith, but we're gonna add realism of, like, people going to have a drink. We're gonna have this and have that, and I like that. And I told Tim that as well. That I like that you guys are making it like we're not trying to escape from that. We're trying to say, well, this is life. Sometimes that people do go here.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah, I really love
appreciate
it.
you saying that. That's
No,
great.
yeah, I really appreciate that. But yeah, it really did move me in the fact too of just, how much time do we have? You know what I mean? And the fact that it's just, when you think about it, it's like, what am I doing with my time? What am I doing with my life? What's really the purpose? Why am I here? And that's why with Rhythm and Roads, it's for us to come on and share. Why do you do what you do? What's the journey like? Where are you at your point in this life with me and discussing your interview, the story of why you like doing what you're doing? Because sometimes we need a reminder, you know?
Yeah.
I love the
Yeah.
film that it reminds you a little bit of yourself, especially at a loss. Like when you lose a job, you lose something, you're losing yourself, but then you're also finding yourself, you're finding your purpose. So
Thank you. Thanks for saying that. Wow.
yeah.
I don't know if you need us today. You're doing great.
I was gonna say that was it. I'm like, that's
I think that's it,
All
guys. Thanks
right.
for watching.
This is great. We're out.
But actually, for those that don't know Caleb, I actually want to get to know your story a little bit, if that's okay, Peter.
Yeah.
Of course,
So
please.
we'll go ahead and start with just your journey, Peter. Sorry, Caleb, on the start of an acting. Just what sparked the interest to want to pursue acting, and the story for that. So
Yeah. Oh, long time ago. I when I was really little, it's funny. Right now that new Mission Impossible movie is out,
oh yeah,
and
great
the
one.
first Mission Impossible is one of the movies that sparked. So I really loved, for some reason, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a spy.
Yeah.
And I loved Spy Kids, was like my favorite movie
Oh
of all time.
man.
And then I realized that they were kids doing this thing that was fun. And then my
Yeah.
dad showed me, he was like, you like spies, watch this. He showed me Mission Impossible.
I love it.
Go
Oh,
around the
dude.
house, around the backyard. I would, at the bottom of a pool, I'd try to like get as close as I could and do the Mission Impossible thing where he
Oh
like,
yeah, when he's hanging above like that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Oh my
it was
God.
like my life. I loved it. But then like that I think turned into my mom was like, this is something that people do as like a performance, and I was like, I had connected like, oh, they do that, but I've seen people on stage, but it's the same thing. So
Mm.
then I wanted to get on stage and started like performing or singing or whatever I could
Yeah.
do. And my mom really like kind of cultivated that. Both my parents did.
Wow.
Uh,
That's awesome.
and so that turned into going into high school and doing like stage plays, theater, musicals, whatever.
Yeah.
And then went into college, went to a performing arts school here in LA.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's called AMDA. Had a good experience there, and then came out, started auditioning, and that was, I don't know, 13 years ago, and started
Mm.
started working. I've had great years, had slow years, and I've been able to get on a couple of shows, um, and then and then three happened.
Yeah.
Here we
Wow. Yeah.
are.
Here we are.
That's
And
cool.
it's been a journey. I mean, just like any actor, I think
Yeah.
you go through like any career, you start kind of scraping at the bottom and then you're
Yeah.
trying to find your footing and like you go through at the same time, I guess any career you go through this, but in acting, as an actor, a performer, you're questioning a lot of those, who am I? What am I trying to put out into the world?
Yeah.
And I remember at one point going, "Oh, I don't even have enough experience to play some of these roles. I need to live my life." And so
Mhm.
I've moved to New York. I've moved back to LA. I've been all over the place. So yeah, that's kind of been my journey, I guess, as far as I'm still doing it. I'm still on the
Yeah.
journey. Just not unlike Kai. You continue to question things and you hit a new phase
Yeah.
in life and you think at some point you think I've got it all together and I know exactly what I'm doing. And then sometimes you come up against an audition and you go, I really don't know what I'm doing. Which kind of was, I think I told Peter, I
It's a
that
great
was
story.
the
Yeah.
Yeah.
audition for this role, not to just jump into something else,
Mm.
but for this role, I was in a time of I was auditioning and I didn't feel like any of my auditions were going very well.
Oh.
And I my agent, oh, I did the audition and like my lighting was terrible for it. I had to do it at home instead of going somewhere to actually do it. My lighting was awful. I for some reason didn't like it at all. I tried to edit it afterwards and I was like, I just have to send it. I just have to send it
Yeah.
off. I can't do anything about it. And then got the call back for it, and I was like, I'm gonna do it right. I like rented a studio, and even in the callback, I like couldn't get
Oh
the
shoot.
words. There's a
Wow.
monologue that I do about my dad. It's in the movie.
Yeah.
It's where we're sitting on the cliff looking. It's
Oh
like this
yeah.
this shot, which is hilarious because I
Yeah.
Yeah.
could not get it down. So I just we were on Zoom doing the callback with Peter,
Yeah.
and so I just set the sides right beside. So if I would just do this and then just kind of look
Wow.
over, like I was looking in the distance, but I was just looking at my lines. And it worked.
That's
It worked.
crazy, man.
So,
Totally worked.
yeah,
Wow.
I mean, this is stuff that I don't know that's happening, when he does, thinks
totally.
it's bad
Well,
lighting.
I've practiced that so
Yeah.
that I could pull it off. And I
Yeah.
wasn't reading it. I would just go over, kind of get it, and then come back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then I mean, we ended up shooting that like in the last like second. We had a last minute decision, and we shot
Yeah.
that. So, and
Wow.
I knew it by then. I had like 3 weeks to get it.
Yeah.
That's
And when
incredible.
we decided on the sides to send out for actors, I was like, oh boy, this is a big,
Yeah,
but you
yeah,
know
yeah.
what? That's the way
Yeah.
it is. And
It was
Caleb just
perfect. Oh, it
killed
was
it. You
perfect.
killed it. And I don't look at the lighting and I don't look at you know what I mean? It's
I
about you
Oh,
and
do.
what you delivered,
I'm glad.
You delivered some
yeah.
great stuff. So it all worked out.
It did, yeah, and I love the fact that it also, Peter. I was gonna say thank you, Caleb, for sharing your story.
Yeah.
It reminded me a little bit of like Back to the Future time travel, kind of. You know what I mean? Like certain things,
Yeah, a
like
little bit.
going back. Oh, and I
Yeah.
caught little glimpses of that. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a
Yeah.
huge fan of that movie. So,
Yeah.
That's my
Oh,
favorite
me
movie of all
too.
time.
what's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
That's my favorite movie ever.
Oh, is it? Oh, heck
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, just
We dabbled in things we could get away with, and I think
yeah.
Yeah.
we did okay.
Like, yeah, and I love the fact it's just the whole like that actor that played, I guess, was he an angel, Peter? Like what was
Eric
the term?
Roberts.
Yeah, was he?
He was an oracle, is what he really
Oh,
is
okay.
called,
That was his
and
title, yeah.
he well, it's interesting because people are taking away different things from
Yeah.
after watching the film. So was he real? Was he
Uh,
not? Was he a figment of Kai's imagination? You make that decision. We're not going to tell you what that
Exactly.
was.
yeah.
There are a couple things that prove that he somewhat is real because other people did see him.
Yeah.
So we gave that. Obviously Anna sees him at the end, and the bartender sees him. But we wanted to dance that line a little bit. We want to let
Yeah.
people kind of make that decision on their own, and I think it worked out well.
Yeah, it did work out really well.
And that's
I was
Eric
trying to
Roberts,
figure
by
it
the
out. I
way.
was like, wait, is this an angel? Like, who is he?
Yeah.
But you did great.
Yeah, yeah.
Caleb, the one of my favorite parts that I actually teared up was, I think, when you were in the film sharing how you're scared to try this relationship. You were
Mhm.
scared to jump into that. And I think a lot because of hurt in the film of just the past of what you've been through, just certain letdowns. And I think a lot, I think I related to that at times where you're scared to want to try this because you don't want to get hurt, But I love the fact that in the end you took that risk. You're
Mhm.
like, you know what? Heck, man, I have nothing to lose. This is more to my life of what I'm going to gain instead of losing. I already lost a lot. What else
Yeah.
do I have?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just wanted, just say that was a great part. I just love the way you expressed yourself.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that was.
I appreciate that. That's I think that goes along with a lot of the theme of the movie is Kai kind of going back and forth between feels like maybe he's stuck in this time in his life after losing
Yeah,
his father and he hasn't been able to move on from that. And then he
right,
comes to this crossroads of losing his job. He
yeah,
doesn't have his brother in his life anymore. He doesn't have
right,
someone like a girlfriend that will help protect him and cultivate him and then
yeah,
push him forward or anything. So he's just kind of in this spot. And it's so funny because it's so easy sometimes to see like if a friend will come to me and ask for advice or something, I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what you should do. You should do
yeah,
this. Well, you should
yeah,
break up with that girl. And it's not that easy when you're in it. So then
right, yeah,
I recognize that reading it going, oh, well, I know what he should do. And everybody's going to watch it going, man, if he could just just get a little like, believe in himself, or if
yeah, yeah,
he could
right,
just take that jump or something. And I like that though. I like that the whole movie is this like you're like, oh, maybe he's gonna lean this way. And even talking about faith, he's questioning so many
yeah,
things, and he's like, maybe I'll go that way. Maybe is that real? He kind of asks the priest, like,
yeah,
is that real? Where do we go? I don't know. Should I lean this way? Should I talk to my brother? Should I figure my job out? Should I do something completely different? Like his identity is completely
oh yeah, everywhere, yeah,
around. So that moment though is that thing for him that he just needed that push. And I think that's why she's so good for him because
yeah,
she just challenges him and that's what he
yeah,
needed in that
yeah,
moment. And but that's that moment that it's like that, like, ah, finally you're gonna take that jump.
yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
I
I
love
do
it.
have to say, Caleb really took ownership of this part. Like he came in, he knew what he wanted it to be. And I'm a more of a visual director, and I admit that. And
Yeah.
I love working with actors who are like, this is how I see it. And we worked together. It was great.
Yeah.
And that scene, the particular scene you're talking about, Joshua, I believe, where they both were kind of confronting each other at the end.
Yeah.
That was our first, I think, it's the second day of shooting with Anna,
Oh, really?
and they
Wow.
killed it. They killed it. We were tearing up just on set, and I still get chills even thinking about it. But
Yeah.
Caleb just took that part and he owned it, and he
Good.
really
Yeah.
embraced it, and I really was amazing, and it helped the
I think
film
that made it
enormously.
easier that you are so visual that you
Yeah,
kind of were like, hey, I'm going to take care of this.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then we would talk about things, but I never once was like, what are you shooting? What's
yeah,
happening?
yeah,
I
yeah,
just, I got to focus completely on the emotional things. So I have shot things where I go, Where's the camera? What
right,
are they shooting
right,
right now? Because I
Oh,
would
right.
love
wow.
to know. And they're like, don't
Yeah.
worry.
Right. Right. And we were and it was a collaboration. It was great. Zach was our DP and he was amazing. And we would always, the way we didn't have time or money to overshoot this either, as
Yeah.
Wow.
Caleb knew. And
Yeah.
so, close-ups were very selective. As you saw the film, there's some scenes where the park scene just goes for 6, 8 minutes without cutting.
That's true. Oh, wow.
And
That is
and
true.
it's
Yeah.
great because the writing was so good and the
Yeah.
acting was so good. Let that be.
Slap it
Why?
in.
Don't have to overcut it unless you have to.
Right.
Certainly, we did close-ups and things where we needed to or had to, but once again, time or money, you kind of just gotta make do. But these guys were so good, I would block it out with Zach, the DP, and of course with them. And I thought there were shots where it's like, I don't. That's it. We're good. Moving on. And they would look at me going, yeah.
I said,
What?
yeah, we'd
What?
be like,
Yeah.
you sure? And he's like,
Why
yeah,
do
yeah,
we
we're
need? Why do we need to over? This is
Yeah.
great. So anyway,
Move on.
moving
Right.
on. Yeah, I mean that's how we made our days, and that's how we made our schedule. So yeah, it was
Peter,
great.
I want to say the shot of when Caleb and Anna were on I guess the hill, right?
Oh, up on the mountain. Yeah,
Yeah, the mountain. Dude, like that was a beautiful shot of just
gorgeous.
everything, just of that emotion, the feeling of being there, and then the fact that he says, "Give me a second, I'm gonna stay here for a bit.
Sort of thing.
I've been through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you just need a moment.
Yeah.
And it's good to have that moment of just to kind of realize just the beauty of what's in front of you, of just the stillness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to have that peace.
I love that.
You
Love
know,
that.
so,
Even from the time I read it
yeah.
all the way through. I'm glad we didn't change anything about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that we've all been there where I was just so happy to get a time on camera where I could sit and be still and you don't have to
Yeah.
talk and stuff.
Yeah.
I love that about that
It was-
scene. I just got to
was-
kind of experience it.
And it was a great scene. I don't know if we told you last time, Joshua. That was kind of an accident, happy accident. We were supposed to be Ridalto, I think, where the fires were.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Up there at the Inn of the Mountain Gods. We were going to do zip
Oh,
lining.
that's right.
We
I
had
remember
this
that.
whole plan,
Yeah.
and we scouted it, and they were going to zip line. Then we're going to get off the zip line and have this discussion. And
okay.
we had it all worked out. And the day of, the fires wouldn't allow us to get up there. The firemen wouldn't allow us to get up there.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, let's figure it out. And somebody came up with the mountain location.
Wow.
It paid off.
It did
It's
pay
like
off.
it was meant to be.
Yes.
Crazy. It was perfect.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
And it was perfect lighting.
Oh,
Actually, I remember, now we're getting a little like nostalgic, but I remember like some huge bird, some hawk was like roaming, looking for something, and I just got to watch it for a while, which really gave me something to do while the camera was on.
Wow.
It
That's
was,
right. I
it
know,
was, there was a
man.
little bit of like magic on that.
yeah. Yeah, we were lucked out on that scene. It was amazing. And you and Anna just pulled it off.
Oh, yeah.
So great.
Especially finally when there was that kiss. The
Yeah.
kiss in her- I was like, thank God, something happened. Cool.
I know.
Like I was waiting for that kiss to happen already.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. We wanted
That's
to wait.
good.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually like the fact that she initiated it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's different.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, she's kind of a firecracker. Both
Yeah.
Mia and
well,
Anna.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love the
Definitely.
fact that, because usually in films, it's usually the guy for the
Right.
moment. But now this was more like she was wanting that kiss. So she took it. And I was like, whoa, good for her. There you
Yeah.
go. But, I want to say, Peter, on that, what we're talking about, how when you try to want to have a certain goal and you try to pursue it, but then certain alternate routes take you to another road.
Yeah.
That happens a lot with like the film Caleb Back to the Future, with Michael J. Fox. You know how they hired someone else prior to play his part.
Yeah.
Eric
And they-
Stoltz.
Yeah, Eric Stoltz. There you go. And they had a month in of shooting already with him.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting, right? When something doesn't seem right or something just happens and then it
Yeah.
steers you to something else, it just
Yeah.
works out way better.
Yeah.
It's like what you were saying, Peter, on going to Rio Doso and how the fire and all that.
Yeah.
It steered you to that scene for the mountain shot, and that just worked out great.
Yeah.
Well, I think I may have said this last time, and I've certainly told Caleb this. Zach and I work so well together. We come from years of unscripted. In a world where you don't have time or money, you've got to make a decision, and the decision making's got to be, on point. So you get trained that, and for this to be my first, scripted feature, it helped me enormously. It just those decisions, and you have to stick by them. You can't question anything in the moment. It's like,
Just
here's
go
what we
with
want to do. We're doing it.
Right.
Just go for it, and it'll work out, which it did.
Honestly, it's incredibly helpful as an actor to know that decisions are being made.
Yeah.
People talking, you see people talking sometimes and go, okay, something looks like it's going wrong, or
Right.
we have to go over and go, what's going on? Can I
Right.
help or anything? And they're like, oh, we're just trying to figure stuff out. I was happy that you guys were making such quick decisions.
Yeah, and we also had it, and I'm not sure if we told you this last time, but we had the classroom scene where where all the scenes happen in the classroom, that great
Oh, yeah.
mural. That was supposed to be another school, and we actually were shooting at the other school. We were doing all the exteriors, and someone came up to me and said, "Hey, somebody wants to talk to you," and the elders, I guess, got together and didn't know that someone else gave us permission to shoot there, so we had to make a quick decision.
Wow.
Get to another
Okay.
school, and we made our day, and I actually loved the classroom we ended up in, because that mural behind Kai was amazing. So yeah, it's just, that's part of filmmaking. That's what I love about it. It's making those decisions and figuring it out in the moment.
Yeah.
And it's everybody working together.
That's
it's not somebody along the line being like negative or whatever. It's everybody going, this is what we're doing, and we're going for it. So
Oh, that's awesome.
enough about me. Let's keep Caleb going here. This is great.
Well, I just want to say too, I want I want to say the ending of the film, it just was great. I loved it. How I actually thought Caleb died because of the
A lot of
cops.
people did.
Yeah,
A
I
lot of
was
people
like,
did.
and that's a nice twist. So great job on that. I was like, all right, it didn't happen.
So I think I've been in at least a half a dozen theaters with full audiences, and it's interesting. Different groups react differently to that moment when you come over the car and
Yeah,
he's running. You see
yeah,
him running,
yeah,
and some people clap. They're like, "Oh my God, this is great!" He lived,
yeah.
um,
That was a great
So
twist. Yeah.
I couldn't. I don't. Didn't want him to die. It would be a horrible way to end the
We
movie.
didn't want him to die either.
I don't know.
It's
We're
funny.
probably giving some,
No, no, no.
but
I was when I was reading when I first read the script, I had an idea because the way that it reads, and even watching it,
Yeah.
um, I was thinking all along, I'm like, no way they're gonna kill this guy off.
right.
Yeah, but then you have to keep reading because
Yeah.
you go, actually, maybe they. I don't know. I don't know.
Never
Right.
know.
But I
Right.
remember being like, all right, cool. I'm glad I was right. I knew. I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna die off.
And we're not giving anything away to our viewers and listeners. It's still a great film, and
Yeah, yeah.
we're not. Hopefully, we're not giving too much away.
Gotta
But
go on
anyway,
Yeah,
that.
hopefully not.
Part of it is, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great moment. But yeah,
Caleb, I want to ask you, what was one of your most memorable experiences being on the set of shooting this film?
Man.
I know. It's a tough
Honestly,
question.
so many. From we've talked about it a little bit, the like quick decisions and stuff, but we had great people on set. I don't think the film would have turned out the way that it is
Yeah.
if we hadn't. We had so many people just picking up, whether it was like a location move um or changing. We had like we had kids on set one day, and we had to kind of run them around, and they had to be comfortable, and then we were
Yeah.
trying to make them comfortable. And at one point, I started talking to them. I was thinking I'll just kind of start talking with them, and maybe that'll get us comfortable for when we do shoot. And then
Yeah.
I looked over at the door and realized that all the crew had cleared out, and then
Oh,
it was at the door like this, like looking at me, and
yeah.
we just went. We're going. Yes, we're going. So then I would just hear like, hey, go back to that one, and we'd like go back to another kid and like start drawing and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a fun day because there weren't for that scene or those couple of scenes, we just shot them and there was no dialogue. I just got to hang out with the kids and talk to them and stuff. And we just kind of created. So I would ask them questions to get them talking and things. So that was really fun. But honestly, some of the best for me was just when it was. I know the very first day was a little bit of running for me, and
Oh,
the
okay.
very last day was a lot of running for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got to kind of pop headphones in and have my own moment as I'm running down these streets, and it was like 110 degrees outside.
Oh,
It was
man.
hot.
I was-
By the way,
I
it's
was-
exactly a year ago today.
Yeah,
Is that
today.
right?
We
Oh,
were
wow.
there a year ago today, or I don't know
Wow.
what day, what day, but we
Yeah,
were shooting,
yeah.
a year right now. So
That's amazing.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That is amazing.
yeah. Some of those
Amazing.
moments, just running and having the camera. That was it though, because there was even when we shot the gallery with Chidozi comes in as and I tell him like I can't do this anymore. That day we finished a little bit early, and so Peter and Zach, our DP, and myself and our first AD, we took off and we started shooting around kind of as the sun was going down. I'm just running.
oh yeah,
And I didn't know how long it was going to go, but it was those moments where I just kind of had my headphones in and was like, this is really like, it's really fun. It's fun filmmaking, and you're just kind of going, and you
Yeah.
don't know what's going to happen. I didn't know how long I was going to be running. I was just running and having my own thoughts. And
yeah.
it was cool. It was fun.
That's cool.
It's like he says, it was a collaboration. Everybody had an idea here or there. Like, let's
Yeah.
try this, let's try that. We did driving shots with a drone through the trees, and we're trying to manage all that. And we had follow cars, and we're trying to just pull everything off before the sun goes down. But it was a true collaboration, which
Yeah.
really made it enjoyable.
Also, the spray paint was a really fun
Oh,
experience
man.
for me.
Love that.
That was
Yeah.
a fun night. And it's funny because it was night and we were trying to like wrap up the day. So I only got to do it for like 45 minutes. We shot it really quick.
Yeah.
But that was a really fun. I couldn't even see because
Yeah.
there was so much dust in the air. I wear contacts.
Oh,
So
okay.
much dust in there. I had to pull my contacts out, and I would
Wow.
just throw my glasses on as I'm like rehearsing and stuff. and then I just took them off, and I'm like, I'm not that blind, but it was enough that I can see what I'm doing, but I can't see past like a few feet in front of
Right.
me. So I
Wow.
was just
You
sprayed.
fooled me. Wow.
It was
I
Yeah,
fun.
mean,
that,
fun fact about that,
yeah.
Joshua. We never painted the wall. So my
Yeah,
Oh,
intention, we couldn't paint the wall. So I
all
did
right,
it.
right.
My intention was to do it in post. Obviously
Yeah,
the shot of the wall. So when you watch the scene or you've seen the scene,
yeah.
it's all on his face. It's all about
yeah,
Caleb and Kai the whole time until the end. You'll
Oh,
see the
man.
wall, but the wall
Yeah.
we did as a post effect. I couldn't paint that wall.
Well,
So
yeah. No, that was a really good job on that. Because yeah, I mean, I knew you guys didn't do it, but I was like, that's a good way of how you
yeah.
yeah,
switched it to make it seem like he did it.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But
It
yeah, I
was
bet that was a
great.
fun night. Yeah.
It
That
was
was
a
a
fun
fun
night.
night. That was really
Yeah,
a fun night because we just
yeah.
got in a party.
It was great. It was
So
great.
getting to that, I want to talk a little bit on that part. I feel like I guess the way you were trying to portray that scene is, I guess he was really just at a low point. He was feeling not inspired. And then he just said, you know what? Instead of just laying here, I'm gonna get up and just, live.
Yeah,
Just do
yeah, that's
something
exactly.
out of my comfort zone or something out
Yeah,
of that I'm not used to, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And I think
exactly.
a lot of us need that at times in life where we just, I mean, not to the point of graffitiing something a
Yeah,
public property, but just something to get up and move, like
yeah,
get
that's
up
Yeah.
and move.
exactly. I think that's
Yeah.
written in the script. Michael did a good job of
Yeah.
writing this. Like, it's such a tug of war, the
Yeah.
whole script, where he's going back and forth between what's the right decision here, and he goes. It's funny because he goes from like he at one point is going into a chapel talking with a priest,
Mm.
and then he's at another point doing like a committing a crime essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
So he just has this whole tug of war the whole time that you don't know what he's gonna do next. It could
Mhm.
be good, could be bad.
Yeah.
And he's in a way sabotaging himself, even like just swiping his credit card over and over. And he's like,
Yeah.
who cares? I don't care. I don't care anymore. I don't
Yeah.
care if I die. I don't care if I live. I
Yeah.
don't care if I have money. And who cares?
Well, that
That's
was
a time in his life.
that. Yeah, and that was evident with the robbery scene. You were just kind of
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
"Go
Yeah.
Oh,
ahead,"
exactly. Yeah.
and that was a pivotal moment as well. Um, yeah, I just feel like you were just owning the fact that you didn't know if you were going to be there in 3 days. So
Yes.
Exactly.
if literally someone told us that in life, do you just go crazy and just live?
Right.
Everyone, oh, I'm gonna go rob a bank. I'm gonna go da da
Yeah.
da. I'm gonna do all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And all of a
Yeah.
sudden you're not, you're still here. You're like, oh shoot, I
Yeah.
gotta now be accountable for all those things.
Right. Which is like that's the moral question throughout the movie, that has this like through line is what do you do? What do you do?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, do
yeah,
you try to be a good person or do you just not care?
Right.
yeah,
Do you, I
yeah.
don't know.
Everybody fantasizes about being the bad guy.
Totally.
I can now be the bad guy because it's not going to matter in 2 days, and so
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of that as well.
So, Peter, I want to ask you for the idea of saying he's going to die in 3 days, but he didn't. So, what was the motive behind just the actor letting him know that, but like the story of that? Like, is it more just to push him to do what he really needs to do in life to scare him? Or
I
like, your definition on that?
I think it's more pushing his life, doing things in his life that would scare him. It's like
Yeah.
face your fears, and I
Okay.
think a lot of us, it affects me a lot every day. I mean, I just walk the dog with my wife and her friend, and my dog's a little feisty with other dogs, and here comes another dog, and my wife, what do we do? What do we do? I said, we got to face our fears. Here we go, and I think there's some of that. It's a horrible analogy. I'm sorry, but there's some of that with Kai and how he lives his life and
Yeah.
what he needs to do to change it and become, a better version of himself, I
Right.
guess, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. And I think
Yeah,
we all get to that point in life where we do want to, evolve, grow, and better ourselves, and sometimes we do need a little bit of a scare to push us
yeah.
to do that because we're so set up in a moment, like a life of a routine.
You get
You know what I mean? That
complacent.
we're so stuck and we just feel like there's more to my life than this. Like there has
Yeah,
to be something else. And sometimes, like something like you, Caleb, in the film with Kyle losing his job, and then to the point of just something pushing him to where he needs to go. It just sometimes things like that happen in life, but it one door
Yeah.
closes, a better door opens, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
And I relate to that as a filmmaker. I was scared to make my first feature. I never made
Oh,
a
I bet,
feature.
man.
Yeah, I was
And
going to ask
so
you about, not that I don't want to take over Josh's questions, but
No, no, go ahead.
I was going to ask you why was this the choice to make your first scripted film? Why was this the one that you like just
it was a story. It was based on a short story that I read a long time ago about knowing the day you die. I forgot the name of the author, but I remember I went to Michael and I met Michael, the writer, Michael Ward, and I said, let's do a short on it. And he wrote a wonderful 14-minute short. A lot of people haven't seen that. Well, nobody will see it now. That was a whole different thing. And it came out so good that we were like, we got to do a feature version of it. Why, to answer your question, I just felt like I was ready. You
Mm,
know, like I said, I've done thousands of hours of television and I've fantasized. I've done shorts for years. You know, we played around
wow.
and I felt like I was ready. And a lot of people would say, wow, you know, I'm not as young as you guys are. I'm over 55-ish. So, you know, but I've lived and I've been in a business and I definitely feel like I've done my fair share of things. And this felt like I was ready for this feature and it just felt so right. And the script was so good. It was like, and
yeah.
you can, if the words just come off the page, like you just like visualize everything
Yeah.
off that. And I just, everything came together. I'm so fortunate and glad to have been a part of this and to have great people like Caleb and Anna and
Oh, yeah.
help make it amazing. So yeah, it's been a thrill for sure.
That's awesome. I do want to ask Caleb, what's next for you? Do you have something in store for another project that you're working on right now? Or?
I've got a couple of things. I think one might come out later this year, but I'm not allowed to talk about either. That's
No?
such,
Oh, okay, that's
that's
fine.
so
That's
annoying. That's
okay.
such an actor like thing, but I'll get in trouble if I talk about
Yeah,
them.
no, that's fine.
Um,
I'm glad
but
there's
I'm
things in
going.
store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to Boston actually tomorrow morning, and I'll be there for like 4 days, a small part in a film. So
Good.
So,
um, I'm doing something. It's because the industry is such a strange place right now.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
I'm happy. I'm happy to be working at all. So
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
and
Yeah.
I'm excited to. I'm excited to tell people where to be able to go watch this film. Is what I'm
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Well,
it's great to have work, but I want to put out work. I'm ready
Yeah.
for people
well,
to do
we
stuff.
are dangerously close. I just told Joshua early
Ah,
on before you got on. So I think we're inking a deal in the next week or two, but it's looking like a release, hopefully in limited theaters, you know, 10 cities
Okay.
for, you know, a few days or a week. So that's limited. But definitely streaming, of course. Apple, we're looking at Apple and a couple other Hulu,
Awesome. Wow.
probably September, October-ish right now.
Okay.
So the fall, the
Nice.
fall. We're gonna let Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt have the summer.
yeah, let them have
They can
their
enjoy
moment.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Let them
But
have their
then
moment.
and it's interesting because a couple theaters called us after Las Cruces.
Oh, wow.
One in particular is in Washington, D.C., which of all places. And they're like, we want to run it for a week. It'd be fun to do that. We blah, blah, blah. And we said, okay, great. And she said, we are talking about dates. And she said, you know, I watched the film. It feels like a fall movie. And I was like,
Yeah, I love it.
wow,
That's true. I never
interesting,
thought of
right?
that. Very
Love
interesting.
it. Yeah, love
Yeah.
it.
It's like, okay, in the fall, it's a little
Yeah.
chilly, crisp. Do you know, curl up with your lady
Look
and, you know, on
cozy.
the
Yeah,
couch?
yeah.
Feel it-
And you know
Yeah.
what? I love like it's so funny because we keep talking about it, but this movie is so up for interpretation. Like
Mm.
anybody that watches it, if she watched it and goes, "That feels like a fall movie to me,"
Yeah.
great. That's
Yeah,
great.
exactly.
They made
Yeah.
something that was such a collaboration that
Yeah.
even the audience is collaborative in watching it. Like you said, some people clap, some people might get a little scared, or some people
Yeah.
might have known all along and thought like, oh no, this is what's going to happen. Some people,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
funny, such
Yeah.
an interesting thing.
It's amazing. And to be, like even Caleb was just saying, to be so close to it for so long, you know, shooting it for me, editing it for, you know, 6 months. And, you know, I always tell people, you kind of know the parts are going to get a little bit of a laugh. So you get in the theater around, I think the biggest theater I was in was 300, and
Wow.
those hit. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden they start laughing at other things. You're like, oh my God, I didn't know they were going to laugh at that. Because the original story was a lot of the closer people I was showing to, or some of the people I was just beta testing with early on, they were feeling like it's not a rom-com, it's a rom-dram. I
Yeah.
thought, okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Right.
It's good.
I can
And
see
we
that.
went with that for a minute.
Yeah.
And then after 4 or 5 screenings, I'm like, this is a rom-com because people are laughing. Like it's so weird where they laugh at, but
Yeah.
once again, it's all about the audience,
Yeah.
the people, the ages, the location. They gravitate towards different things, so it's really
Yeah.
amazing.
Mhm.
One thing I want to add to that of just the moment where um his dad passes away or he makes that decision, that triggered certain things with me because I lost my mom to cancer 4 years ago, but it wasn't to that point of me saying, "Oh, let's go ahead and, stop that." It's just knowing the motion of just letting a loved one go. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I felt that, and I want to say, Caleb, you did a great job in that part of your
Thank you.
Yeah,
expression, the way that because it's not an easy decision, right? I mean, for you to just make that call.
yeah,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that
And
definitely was a like great scene, the way you expressed yourself. So,
thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
yeah.
Especially coming from you, having connected to that. I've talked to like a lot of this movie, different people connect to different parts of it. And that particularly people have come up to me and said, "Oh man, that was tough. That reminded me of my mom or my dad, whatever." And
Yeah, yeah.
that's cool. I'm glad that you
yeah,
connect.
I've had people come up to me after screenings crying.
really,
Yeah,
wow,
just that
yeah,
hit me. That went
That
through
was
that.
yeah, that was something that Michael, the writer, and I
Yeah,
talked about because he had lost his dad, and he and I got to just kind of sit and talk about that and what that
yeah,
was like. And
yeah,
it's so funny because that I've had people. There's a lot of tears in this movie for
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah,
They just kind of come out, but it's we as actors get so like into how do I get there? What's my technique? And if you just talk to people, I would be on set and someone would say, "Oh, this reminds me," and I was like, "Really? It does? I'm ready to go. Let's shoot," because it just
wow.
fills
it
you up
just triggered
talking to
you. Huh?
people.
Wow,
Well,
Yeah,
like when people connect to what you're
yeah,
doing,
yeah,
it's so easy to just feel that empathy, and then it just flows
yeah,
out, and you can just kind of stay there. And that's kind of how I did this. The whole
yeah,
movie is you're feeding off of. I would feed
Mhm.
off of Anna Grace as we were doing our scenes, and I would feed off somebody else, and that was, or I
Wow,
would feed off of the fact that it was so hot and here
that too.
sweat,
yeah,
sweating.
that too.
Well, and
Yeah.
Kayla, yeah, Kayla did an amazing job. And as a filmmaker, to touch people like that, it's
Oh,
amazing.
right,
Yes, yes.
it is.
It's amazing. I still go back to the thousands of hours of television I've done, and I get a text or an email, and it's wonderful. But to sit in a theater and hear people react,
Yeah,
whether it's laughter, cry, I mean, it's priceless. Like I still get chills even just talking about it.
wow.
It's amazing.
Caleb, I want to ask you before we close on this episode, for those that want to pursue acting and want to pursue this field, I know it's not always a smooth journey. I mean, there's always sometimes insecurity, self-doubt. Sometimes you want to talk yourself out of it, like maybe I'm not good, maybe I didn't get that role. You want to share just a little bit of what you've kind of your experience, but what you've overcome and some advice for those to kind of get through that?
Yeah, that's like the ongoing question I think from top to bottom as an actor. My experience has been not that much different from honestly anybody. I didn't break out as a 17-year-old and become widely famous or rich or anything like that. And even still trying to get jobs. I'm still
Mm,
auditioning. I'm still working towards that and constant pursuit of getting better
mhm,
and always pursuing um how can I like tweak things just to get not specifically just for auditions, yes, but also then you get on set and that's a different beast and
mm,
that's a different ball game, and then you
yeah,
start working with people that are way bigger than you and have been doing it for like 20, 30,
wow,
40 years
yeah,
sometimes. So um I always tell young actors to you've got to think about this as a business and a career as well, not just a passion. It is a passion, but like playing basketball is a passion, and then you get to the NBA
mm,
and you play
right,
against people like LeBron James who've been doing it for 23 years,
yeah,
and you're 19 years old.
yeah,
You have to think about this in as a marathon,
mm,
and we always hear that, but it's so true that when you're even if you were going into business or
Mm.
something. You could graduate college with a degree and then go into it as a career, and nobody's going to hand you the key to a company and say, "Here, you're the CEO." And for
Mm.
some reason, people expect that as an actor, where they're like, "I'm ready. I'm ready to lead the next Jurassic Park franchise."
All right.
And you're not. You're so not ready. And even if you do get a part in that, that will last for a couple of years, and then you're back to auditioning and back to working. And so you have to think about it as building, a career, stacking things on top of each other, stacking your experience. Auditions are experiences and chances for you to get better,
Mm.
classes. So if you if you're okay with not making it, but if you're okay with getting where you want to be when you're in your 50s, maybe. I mean, look at Peter's just made his first feature film, and he said it was the right time for him. If you're
Mhm.
okay with that, if you're an
Right.
artist and you're okay with it coming to you later on, and you can be patient, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
If you want it too fast, too early, then it's
Uh-huh.
going to be a lot harder for you. Um, that's been my experience. And the minute that I let go of that, the minute that I was like, okay, I'm okay with it coming 10, 15 years from now, 20
Mm.
years,
Yeah.
whenever I could, sustain myself and only get to act.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Once I became okay with it, all of a sudden there was no pressure on my auditions. There's no pressure on that I
Um,
have to be perfect for this specific role. It became like, oh yeah, in the last 10 auditions I've done like probably five of them were really good, and then like three of them were like great, and a couple of them I just didn't have it. That's okay. That's totally
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's always my advice is like you got to think about it as a long-term goal,
Mm.
and then keep going. And I started listening to everyone that I could get my hands on as far as like podcasts, interviews, YouTube. There's like actors on actors. Everything that I could listen to, actors talk, successful actors talking about when they were younger.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my bread and butter because it gave me this. I was like, oh, I'm already in the community. I'm in. I'm in with McConaughey, or I'm in with whoever's won the Oscar because they were where I am now at some point. So I'm already in the group. I'm cool. We're all doing it together. Great.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Wow.
That I can,
Nice.
you know. So
Nice.
yeah, I would just listen to everybody talk about their experience, and that will help you feel like you're already belonging to that specific group of people, I guess.
Yeah. Oh
Great.
yeah. Well
Love
said,
it.
Caleb. Well said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well said. Fantastic.
Thanks.
Peter, I want to ask you very same question for those because I'm actually starting my own first documentary.
Okay.
A little short I'm doing on a celebrity singer here in El Paso. Her name is
Okay.
Jessica Sachs, and she's a good friend of mine, but she's done really well. And her producer is actually friends with Selena's brother, Abe. So
Yeah.
so they're
Great.
doing this collaboration on that. So this is like for me, there's like, well, this is your idea, Josh. We want you to direct it. And
Wow.
I was like, okay.
Oh boy, here we
But yeah, like,
go.
here we go. But here's the thing is like,
That's
I've had a little
great.
bit of
Face your
experience.
fears.
Yeah, face your fears. I've had experience before with my brother who lives in La Mirada, California, and he's done some short films out there. So my experience with him is going to help with this. But what I want to ask you, Peter, is just your advice too for those that are starting out to want to direct a film or be in that industry.
Yeah, I mean, directing a film is a daunting process. I didn't realize it till I got into it. I mean, there's, finding a concept, finding a script, refining it,
Hmm.
raising money, getting actors, shooting it, editing. Like it's a process, which I knew the process, but it's
Yeah,
definitely a lot more daunting when you're in it.
right.
My advice is, first of all, you're going to know when you're ready. Just like Caleb just said, I knew I was ready, so you're going to know when you're ready. But
Yeah,
I kind of go like Steven Spielberg. It's like nowadays, go shoot something.
yeah,
Just get out there
yeah,
and
yeah.
just there's no reason with what we have in technology now. We don't have to worry about getting film cameras and film anymore. I mean, my Lord, take your phone
Right.
and work on your craft. Obviously, watch movies, watch interviews with great directors. They give advice. But work on your craft. Like just,
Yeah,
put the phone up and, or whatever you have and work on your framing and work on blocking. Blocking for actors and camera is such an art that it's amazing when it comes together. And it really it's not easy, but once you get to the point of like, oh, I'm a viewer, I want to see how, if you put people in a restaurant, you're not going to put them in a corner booth because what's behind them? It's just a flat wall. You're going to
Oh,
put them in the middle
right.
of the restaurant. So you
Yeah.
have depth. It's all about depth and things like that. Um,
Mm.
just practice, just keep doing it, and you'll know when it's right. You'll know when it's right and when it feels right. And also just be attentive. Listen to the people, listen to the actors. You're doing a documentary, listen to the people you're interviewing.
Hmm.
That's important because first of all, they want to know you're listening. Second of all, you can ask questions based on, just like what you're doing right here. You're just taking the next thought and going, oh yeah, I'm going to go to the next. So those are a couple of the important things I would suggest.
All
I
right.
could, I could go on for 4 more hours, but I don't think we have that time.
No, yeah,
But
great advice. Thank you so much. And actually, now I feel inspired. I'm like, all ready to go, guys. Bye.
yeah,
I'm ready to go
you you
direct.
you
Peter
you
will
just
get you there, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
just do it because
yeah,
you never want to years later go, oh, they asked me to do that documentary and I just didn't feel right for it. Just do it. It'll
yeah,
work out. It'll be
yeah.
fine. And
Awesome.
editing's amazing. So
Oh, I bet it is. Yeah.
it can fix a lot of things. So
Awesome.
anyway, well, good luck with that, Joshua.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thanks for the advice. And
No
Caleb, for those
problem.
to find you on social media, do you want to put your links up? I could put it where we could find you.
Yeah, I think it's just my name. I
Oh, just
think
your name? Okay.
Ruminer. I think I don't even remember now.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
But
fine.
like,
I'll
yeah,
look it up.
definitely Instagram. I think it's just my name, Caleb Ruminer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And
And Peter,
three the movie.com is important. That's
yeah,
our
free movie.
website, our YouTube channel. And then we'll be definitely keeping everybody up to date on we'll be promoting all summer as we make a date for the fall, but it's looking like September, October for sure.
Oh, I'm
I can't
excited.
wait. I can't wait.
Yeah.
You got to keep me updated.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Everyone's gonna be involved. We're gonna be blanketing everything.
There you
Just letting
go.
as much as we can. So
Well, guys, I just want to say thank you again for coming on Rhythm and Roads and sharing. I really appreciate your time. I really do. And it's just, Caleb, it's just a blessing to have you on and share your journey with the film and just also your journey as an actor. So,
Yeah. Thanks, man. It's really
yeah.
nice to meet you.
Oh, yeah, pleasure, brother. I wish I would have met you in person at the
I
wine.
know. I know.
And I
If
was
we
like,
had
dang
known,
it.
I would have found you. I would have sought you out.
Ah, I
Yeah.
didn't know you were there. If I would have known, I would have.
If I'm
Yeah,
ever, are you in El Paso?
I'm in El Paso. Yeah.
Okay. If I'm
Yeah.
ever there, I'll look you up.
well, we're up for the El Paso Film Festival.
Well, there
So
you go.
Oh, are you
if
really?
it, we're not accepted yet. We're
Oh,
submitted, I should
you're
say.
submitted. Okay.
I'm trying to find it when we get notified. We get notified August 1st, so we'll see.
Oh, well,
Maybe we'll be, but that's not the actual festival date. The festival date's probably a month later. So, but maybe
well,
we'll all be there.
okay. Well, here's some exclusive news. To Peter, what he just said is I actually got it. Well, I asked, and they said yes to invite me and Jessica Ann Jimenez to host the film festival for in El Paso.
All
Oh,
right.
wow.
Yeah, so
Fantastic.
yeah, so it's gonna be September 25th through the
Oh,
27th. Yeah, those are the dates.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, can you
So,
put a good word in for us?
oh, of course, yeah. So actually, I
Yeah.
met.
Now you need it, dude.
Now we're
Now you
in.
need us to get in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's why it would be. It was gonna be. It would be awesome just to be there with you guys. I mean, I would take.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be awesome.
That'd be fun. That'd
Yeah,
be great.
I
well,
Well,
like El Paso. I like
congratulations.
from El Paso to Las Cruces, man. I had a great experience
Ah,
Oh, I
going there.
bet, man.
that
Yeah.
that Las Cruces trip, and my sister, I mean, you saw it. My sister brought a dozen people from Buffalo. My wife came, you came, Anthony. Everybody just came because they're like, oh, well, we'll come. And, well, oh, I guess we'll go to the award show. Oh, my
Yeah.
Lord. I
Oh
had no
man,
idea.
I didn't even remember how many people we had there. And then when they announced that we won the grand jury prize, and a
Screaming.
whole section just lifted.
Oh, wow.
Crazy. And then, of course, I have to get up there and speak. And I'm like, literally the classic Hollywood, Oscar winning speech. I was not prepared for this.
Right.
I don't know what I'm saying. And I didn't, luckily I gauged off of a lot of people that won stuff
Yeah.
before me. So it was kind of like, okay, you don't have to thank everybody. It's not that kind of event.
Yeah.
Just thank the city and the thing. And I was just like, oh boy. But it was amazing. So
That's awesome.
crazy. Great.
Wow. Well, yes, congrats again, Peter, for the win, for those 2 wins. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining Rhythm and Roads, and thank you, Caleb and Peter, for coming on to sharing the story. And this was the update on my review, and I loved it, and I can't wait to see it again in the fall. So,
Great.
Thank you, Joshua, for your
Thank
time.
you.
This
Thanks
is
for having
great.
me.
Yeah.
Thank you
It was
guys.
fantastic.
Thanks.
It's a rainbow moon, also known as a lunar corona.
Never seen anything like that. Shit.
I told you not to go in there.
I know you want it, so I won't be making you stay. Endless runaway in this game we play.
You know I need this, so please don't ask me to stay. My mind's escaping, my heart couldn't run away. Hear me when I say it's just a game I'm playing.
I know you want him, so I won't be making you stay. I know he told you what's only I meant to say. Playing with your heart, gambled all we got.
Don't know if we need this. Let's find out before it's too late. We both wanna be this way. Don't call it.
You give up too quick.
Away.
Oh, I changed my mind.
You know, when people come to church, they usually have a reason. Most of the time they're hurting. Are you hurting?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
I know you need it, reminding you someone else cares. Is it not enough, all this love we've got?
You know I need this, so please don't ask me to stay. My mind's escaping,